Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. It's a nice brisk fall morning here. Super warm, 42 degrees outside, so these leaves are changing color here in the Rogue Valley. Looking at a Super Easy today. This is the same one that has been on a couple of videos. Trying to go through it, get everything ready to rock and roll for Scott. And one of the final steps I've got going here is the handlebar. And these things are not a solid mount. Homelite in the 60s, and later of course, all the way up through production, messed around with various methods of reducing vibration. So these handlebars are not a solid mount, and that leads a lot of guys to think, oh man, these are blown out, there's something broken. That's not necessarily the case. So I thought I'd go through this, kind of show you what's involved. One thing to remember is that there are 3 models of the Homelite EZ, and they're all a little bit different. There's the EZ, the EZ Automatic, and the Super EZ. Engine size is different, excuse me. The EZ is a manual oiler only, and it's 2.1 cubic inches. The EZ Automatic added the automatic oiler and is at a 2.3 cubic inch, and the Super EZ is at a 2.5 cubic inch. And far and away that's the most common saw of the series, but you got to be careful with what you've got when you're ordering parts, because the handlebars are different. The mounting points at the bottom of the fuel tank are a little bit different. So anyway, got that apart and some stuff cleaned up. So your handlebar bracket, get up close here. Not too close. You can see how big those holes are. A standard bolt isn't going to hold those in place, a standard screw. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys that have, excuse me, attempted to put washers and all that kind of stuff in here. Don't do that. Find the right parts. They are still available on eBay. My website has them, and I try to keep those in stock because they're a common wear part. So I'm going to replace these little grommets because they are kind of blown out with what's here. Come on, focus. Alright, hopefully that'll be visible if I do this out here. And don't drop it too many times. So this is just a rubber grommet. It's got a step on it, so it will snap right into this hole. Just like that. And this is, of course, the handlebar bracket. And you've got your screws go into place. And behind that, you have another molded rubber piece. Again, this is still very widely available. I've got a ton of them in stock myself. Fits right over the handlebar bracket. Then you've got your steel plate that acts as a stop for these screws. Now as this tightens down, everything compresses and it leaves just a little tiny bit of wiggle room. And make sure you get this bracket aligned with the cut edge facing the way it should. It's very obvious because you've got your fuel tank shape here. Some people put a little bit of Loctite on these screws. A lot of handlebars, the brackets will vibrate loose. I personally have not found the Super Easy to be one of them because of all the rubber that's in here. But that's a personal preference. If you do use Loctite on these, I would highly recommend it be the blue medium strength and not the high strength red. You don't have to get crazy on these. Okay. So, see that? Still moves. That's normal. That's exactly what she should be doing. So on the rest of the saw, you've got a standard mount on the top for the main handle that uses a regular socket head screw. That's a tight, solid, firm mount. The bottom, you see these are pretty big holes, and again, these use a special shoulder screw. And the handlebar itself gets another set of these rubber liners. Those were actually in pretty good shape, so I'm reusing them, but the rest of the components that were supposed to be down here were missing. And those are a set of steel plates, and there's actually small indentations here, and then a set of rubber pads that will go over top of those between the mounting point and the handlebar, and that's what creates your cushion down here. So these can be kind of tricky to get into place, so I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on the video doing that, but you've got to get them in here, get them to stay in place as you're slipping the handlebar on, and get your screws started. So once I'm done with that, we'll come back and look at how the whole thing mounts. Okay, back together. That's normal. That is what it's supposed to be. You can see it's fairly tight down here, but there is some pivot movement. Most of your movement is going to come right up here at the bracket, and with these rubber grommets that are in there, they're designed to do that. So in theory, as you're hogging away on cutting, and you're getting your vibration, obviously it's going to come from the chain and whatever you're cutting. There's a little bit of flex there that should absorb a little bit of it, and that combined with the rubber handle was their answer to the white knuckle syndrome, you know, and other various problems that came from running chainsaws for an extended amount of time. So anyway, if you're going to refab a Super Easy, or you've got one and you're wondering, geez, I don't think the handle should move around like that, go ahead, pull it apart, check your rubber components, make sure they haven't totally deteriorated, make sure the steel inserts are still there where they belong, and if you have any questions about what your saw should have, determine what it is. Go to my website. I've got all the illustrated parts lists there. There's not a model of these that isn't covered. In fact, there's hardly a model of Homelite, period, that I don't have at least something out there for. So take some time, go through those, and you'll have yourself a good solid saw.